So let's go ahead and just take a couple moments here. Cross your legs, sit tall, put your hands somewhere on your lap. Palms can face up or down. You're going to gently shift your shoulders back over your hips. Now, at any point, this is your own practice, right? Just like in a regular yoga class in person, you are going to listen to your own body. And you always are at choice with needing to maybe even start in child's pose right now or lay on your back. Always an option. When I offer to close the eyes, you can keep them open. Make yourself feel as comfortable and as nourished as you need to. At the same time, challenge your body in a way that respects and honors you. So closing the eyes, let your hands rest comfortably. You could always keep your eyes softly open. And let's take a couple of breaths right here. So deep inhale, expansive breath. And exhale, letting the shoulders soften. Filling up, inhale. And slow exhale. Breathing in. And breathing out. Take a few more breaths on your own. I want you to try to fill up the body with as much air as you can without pulling in too fast. And as you exhale, feel that gentle release, the dissipation, the gentleness of the exhale. And then again, breathing in. And breathing out. I'm going to read a quote by the Buddha, and it's what we're going to work through today. So 3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. 3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. Take a moment here, working tonight with Satya, which is truth. Knowing your truth, getting truthful with yourself, in your own heart, in your own mind, your own body, your own spirit. The relationship with yourself is the most important, in being truthful with where you are, and then holding yourself in compassion with that truth. And that will spill out when we have that compassion for others. It's not just about taking care of others. And draw your hands to heart. Namaste hands. Take 1 breath, inhale. Side out your mouth, exhale. Open your eyes, and we're going to bring ourselves into the practice here. And we're going to go ahead and start with butterfly. So we're going back to the roots. Butterfly is a great practice to start with. So you can come on your bum. If you need a blanket, so for me, a blanket is really nice to come and roll off of it. Not necessarily, you don't want to sit on it around the spine. You want to roll off it. You don't have to either. Butterfly is essentially bound angle pose. You don't have to have a bolster. You could just have a regular blanket or pillow right here if you have a block. We don't want to make the feet too close in. It's not about really opening the hips in a very intense way. It's going to happen with just the amount of time. We're going to hold it for 5 minutes. So don't get too caught on the timing of it, and you can always adjust, and I'll guide you through it. So this would be something that might be good. The feet are almost, the feet are together, and you're creating a diamond shape, or you can bring the feet a little bit more forward. Some of you might be able to bring your block further down. If you're already at a point when you enter the posture that you're already right up against that wall where it feels really intense, you got to back off and just let gravity and time take over. Right? If you don't have a block, that's okay. You can use a pillow. This is my meditation cushion. You can use something, that will give you that support. And over time, even if there's a gentle, my elbows are touching my inner shins, right? I can feel like after a few minutes, gravity takes over and it's going to become very intense. So just make sure you're in a position where things usually you don't want and your bones stacked on top of each other. And that might be hard to not do. So just know that you might need to just shift in about a minute or so. And then just try to relax the body. Try to start to find some of those deeper breaths. Yin is about slowing down. And really it's like a meditation. Meditation is not meant to be easy. It's actually it can be very hard. There are moments when it feels like effortless. When you get quiet, things show up. So just pay attention to your own body. You can always keep your eyes softly open. Closing them can create maybe intensity and intense feelings. So definitely feel comfortable in your body. Relax your eyes. Breathe in and out. So Satya, Sat means truth. Sat means truth. Satya is the second yama from the 8-limbed path of yoga. It means honesty or truthfulness with our words, thoughts, and actions. Just as the Yin practice asks us to be really honest with our bodies and how we are feeling on any particular day, this yama asks us to be sincere and authentic so that all of our actions line up with our values. I like this word congruence. Since my first yoga teacher training, I listened to this guy's book. I was in a breakup. This was in 2012. It was actually after my breakup, but I remember this motivational speaker, Brendan Burchard. He's very cheesy, but he's been sort of in my own, what he said at that point was, for me, the congruency in my life. I always wanted all my actions to be exactly how I felt. And before that yoga teacher training, my own life, I didn't like my job. I wasn't happy with my relationship. There were a lot of things. And I just kept pretending that I was okay with all of that. And then after I did my yoga teacher training and left the corporate world, nonprofit world, I kept holding on to that word congruence in my life. I wanted all the actions that I did and how I showed up at, getting a coffee with a barista, to how I taught my classes, how I spoke to my family. And it's a lot of work, but then there's nothing for you to hide. And it's just being more honest with what is going on in your life. So we're already just 3 minutes in. We have another 2 minutes. And I want you just to sort of see if the block or whatever support you had, maybe you take it a little bit lower, you make a tiny adjustment. Maybe walk the feet more forward. And then go back to your breathing. Along the lower back and the outer hips and the inner thighs. The Yin, like I said, is a Taoist practice, and it's really sort of follows traditional Chinese medicine. So you're really trying to release those points in your body, right? The meridian, you're trying to touch those points with this movement or this holding in place. And then that non-movement on the physical plane internally helps to move the energy and the chi. And just start to notice your breath for this last half a minute. right? There's going to be that. I always like to visualize where there's that tension in the muscles in the body, right? And you can sort of feel it travel and then it goes away. You stay with it. You try to hold the position without harm to your own body. The truth of what you know you can do is always there as well. Good. Let's just take another 2 breaths. Good. And one more. And exhale. So if you have a block or anything, you're going to gently put it away. You're going to go ahead and take your hand somewhere to help you rise up. Maybe take one hand to help lift up your head. Maybe you need that. Good. Let's lay on your back. Actually, we're going to come upright in a moment, but since we spent a little extra time on your back, just a regular on your back. You don't even need a mat. If you have one, that's fine. You're going to bend your knees once you're laying down. Your feet are flat. Your arms are going to go out to like a T. And this is just a rebound, palms down. Feet wide as your mat. And you're just going to windshield wipe side to side with the knees bent. You can hang out on one side as you look. So if the knees drop over to the right, you're looking to the left. Or you can simply just go side to side. Unhinge jaw. Rotate, breathe. Take 3 to 4 side to side. And then once you feel even, together we're going to drop the knees over to the left. So just let them sort of go over to the left. They're just dropping over, and however they land, look to the right. Close your eyes and take a big breath in and out. Breathe in and out. One more. And letting it go. Knees inhale up over to the right. You're going to look to the left. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. One more breath. And exhale. Good. Come back through center. And then just drop your knees to one side to help yourself up. Good. So we're going to come upright. We're going to bring our feet wide. So variation here, dragonfly. If like the heels on the floor doesn't feel that great, just put a little blanket or make sure it's on the rug or something that feels good. And then having either a block or your bolster, you want to pull the flesh away from your seat. And then from here, we're going to try to bring, I don't know, that's a little too low. If you have 2 blocks. Okay, there we go. You're going to put your elbows on your blocks. The toes can be relaxed and pointed. You can be more upright. So if this is a lot on the hamstrings, you're going to put a blanket under the thighs with a little bend. And then a little bit here. And that just sort of, it's less on the hamstrings then, even just a little lift. And then you might even be higher. Usually when I have the door open, I can smell things. So right now, like cigarette smoke, not right now, I can smell someone's doing laundry. Last week, someone was making really yummy tomato sauce for either a pasta or maybe some sort of smelt yummy with garlic. Sorry if you're hungry. Right now, it just smells like laundry. over time, you're going to try to, wherever you land, it's really about comfort in the upper body, because you're going to feel it right here in your hips, inner thighs, lower back, hamstrings. You want to try to relax the shoulder, soften the eyes, and maybe even take. So say if your forearms can come down, you can take your forehead on a block. I even like to position sort of the block on an angle. You can even hold it. And this can get very intense really, really fast. If you don't have props, that's okay. Maybe you'd be more narrow and you can just bring your elbows down to a pillow. You can even stack your fists. Just try to relax your body. So from here, the practice of satya, truthfulness, is a moving target. What we believe in and what is right for us is always changing from day to day. And it skews with the revolving lens with which we view the world. Life is not one way all the time. So to practice this tenet, satya, we need to continually assess the question, what is true at this moment? Try to keep relaxed in the eyes. We have another minute and a half. Let the head be heavy. When we look to our life, we may understand that some of the truths we held dearly about ourselves and others may not be true at this time. We may understand that some of the truths we held dearly about ourselves and others may not be true at this time. Lies from the past have slipped into our present version of the truth. Maybe someone with good intentions told you something that you believed in, and these words have bound you to a thought that is no longer real or true. Satya asks us to be brave, to gently untangle the challenge of our beliefs so that we can unburden ourselves of what is no longer valid. It asks us to be honest in what we're doing with our lives, who we are in relationship with it, and with our intentions. It asks us to be non-judgmental, so we can welcome and examine all parts of ourselves, our limitations, and the places we have chosen to ignore. It asks us to stop lying to ourselves, and in doing so, walk fearlessly through our lives. Good. So that was 5 minutes right there again. So I want you to, again, push your hands down, maybe take any support that was underneath your head, walk your hands back, maybe even take your hands again to lift up. We almost get in yin into a position where it feels really hard to leave it. Take one hand and catch one leg in. And let's just take the other one in as well. And let's just take a seated twist, because we're going to move into side stretching and we're going to hold it. But so just, you're in a regular cross-legged. I like to sit in this Buddha pose. Take your left hand behind you and your right hand outside of your left thigh. Push down into your left hand and sit tall and breathe in. And then rotate and twist and exhale, looking down your nose. Again, inhale and exhale. One more breath. Good. And then let's just simply switch over to the other side. Right hand behind, left hand outside of your right thigh. Sit tall, breathe in. Exhale and rotate. 3, 2, and 1. Good. So we've done a lot of forward bending. We're going to do side stretching. So let's go ahead and take your left leg Now, the same thing, if you need support underneath that left knee, this foot does not need to be touching that foot. We actually almost want a little bit, like imagine we were putting this right leg over there. We're going to keep it in. You have your block or something on the inside of that left leg. You're going to take your right elbow and maybe take, I like a fist. If you do a lot of vinyasa, this might feel better. Or you'll put your hand, and you might need to adjust your block. And maybe this is still like, oh, you can't reach it. That's okay. Then you can put a book underneath it or another block. And really what we're trying to do over time is keeping this right thigh down. You're going to use this right hand. You're going to put a little pressure on it. And we're trying to open up the chest to the right. So we should start to feel, if you even put your right hand, you can feel your ribs. And then below, like there's space, there's your hip. Right underneath the rib cage and under and behind you are the floating ribs. And there's so much there. Underneath it as well is your diaphragm. And there's so much tension that gets pulled in from laughing, maybe crying, right? Holding in tightness, tension. And we're really trying to open that up. So take a couple more breaths. Keep this right hand gently pressing down. And I want you to try to bring your head back. And you'll notice even that shift opens up the hips a little bit more. And you can just, I like to push my 3 middle fingers on the thigh just a little bit. Breathe into it. This right here is enough. The toes are relaxed. There's no pointing. There's no engagement in that way. You might, over time, if you're higher, you might come lower. And I don't like to hold the hand behind the ear for long, but you can find as you bring the right hand sort of behind the ear. And if you feel like you're closing, and that's okay, we're going to try to open it up and push maybe that left elbow on the inside of the thigh. Breathe. Maybe this right arm even starts to reach. Again, we're trying to be a little bit more passive, but this is just getting a little bit of intensity. You could also do this. This right here is still enough. You've got this, 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 this. And you can even put the right palm behind you. And let's actually all try that. So the palm will face out behind your rib cage. I know it's not as relaxing, but and then you're going to push this left arm to sort of gently open up, like you're trying to open up your heart towards the sky. Whew, I can feel. You can even maybe let the hand release if you just want to take another. We've got another minute right here. So this left ear will come towards left shoulder. This right hand is behind you. So that's a really intense feeling in your neck and your shoulder. To release it is why we're doing it. We're not trying to add just for the sake of adding. Tongue releases from the roof of your mouth. So again, a good way in Ashtanga, in Vinyasa, we try to breathe with the lips closed. It's the best way. But sometimes when we close the lips, the jaw tightens up. So for these last couple of breaths, I want you to release the tongue from the roof of your mouth. We're right in sensation. Take that right hand, just let it release. Take your left hand. Use this right hand, help to push down because you want to make sure that you're not using your neck muscles to help you lift. We're going to rise up. Whoa, that was a long time. Take your time. There's no rush. Move slow. We're going to go to the second side. Good. So you have to help bend it, support the body. All of you guys are pretty young. Most injuries happen from simple, like reaching for something without engagement. So the same thing can happen in your practice. When the body is relaxed and we're holding, you don't want to use a bunch of effort without engagement. So then you try to use your hands to help you. So the block is on the inside. You have a couple books, maybe you stack it up nice and high. This left knee is bent. You can always sit up a little bit higher on a blanket. Take this right elbow, make a fist, hand. You'll notice one side is just more open and one side is just more tight. Try to work in the same progression. I know it could be very easy to try to, you know, how deep you got on that first side, and sometimes we want to try to get there sooner. Like we're looking for sensation. It's interesting to talk about sensation as a yoga teacher now, because most people, when they start their yoga practice, they want to feel it the next day. And so even when I talk to my own private clients, you know, and just my students, it's like, it's good to have that sensation, but it shouldn't be the only thing, just in an overall yoga practice. And yet in Yin, we are looking for sensation. Not, again, in a non-harming way. Good, so you're putting a little pressure with the left hand on that thigh now. You're pushing that right arm maybe on the inside of the block or the thigh, just to start to open up the chest. Good, and again, you can feel the difference here, left and right. Roll that left shoulder back. Maybe you need to put that block a little bit higher or maybe a little bit lower. The right toes are relaxed. And then we're going to start to add on. So you can always keep this here or just relax it. We're going to take this left hand, place it behind the ear. You need to be a little bit higher here, and then help to let that chest open. Remember, you can stay here. Maybe you'd rather go on the reach or reach it up. Maybe press that right arm a little bit on the inside of that right thigh. Unhinged jaw. Go ahead, reach that right hand behind you, palm faces out. And then try to roll that left shoulder open. Remember, you can always put your left hand on the thigh. Let's take a few more breaths. Noticing what's going on with the body. Good. And then take your right hand to help. And the left hand, draw the navel in. You're going to help everything lift up nice. Whew. Good. Normally, I haven't been doing it with you guys, but my low back really needs a little support today. All right. So let's go ahead and just lay on your belly. We're going to move into just like Sphinx pose, which we've done a lot of forward bending. So let's rest for a few breaths. Now, just pause here and watch for one moment. If you tend to have, especially if you have a blanket and, you know, you have your hips are pretty pointy, lay a blanket down. Doesn't have to be one like a yoga blanket. It could just be like something that's flat. And then we're going to go ahead and lay down. You don't need to have this down, but today I definitely need it. You're going to take your hands underneath your chin or your forehead. Option, take a cheek down. I'm going to take my cheek down on my arms by my side. Just to let the low back release, let the shoulders roll forward. Palms can face up if your hands are by your side. Making this a meditation. You can close your eyes or keep your eyes softly open. So there have been studies about people who lay on their belly or who are closer to the floor, like they're laying on the floor, sitting on the floor, belly back. And people who are, whether it's the floor or ground, tend to be happier. Let's take the other cheek down if you did that with me. And really why that was, why are these people so happy? Because they're usually either doing yoga, playing with their animals, or playing with their children. And actually, in Japanese cultures, if you have seen, if you've not been, they're just mats on the ground to sit and eat. And it's really lovely because you have to go up and down, and it really makes for your joints and your body to be much more limber and thus much more happy. Okay, let's go ahead and prop yourself up onto your forearms. Forearms down, elbows the width of your shoulders, and your legs just a little bit wide. So the toes are pressing down. I say we want to make this feel like we're getting a back bend without overdoing it. So the legs are about 30% active, forearms are pressing down. You can walk those elbows a little forward and have those forearms more on the angle out. Good. Draw the navel in. We're going to take 2 more minutes right here. So if this feels really deep, like you're not looking for a back bend in a yin, maybe you want a little bit, you can come and bring your hands back by underneath your shoulders. So not back by your rib cage, and you'll lift up. So it's a little bit more work because you're using your arm strength. So maybe do it for 1 minute, which is about 6 breaths. And then you can come down and come back up and do it again. Good. If you're here with me, let's call this 30 seconds in. Maybe closing the eyes. Just a little energy in the legs, pressing the hips down. Elbows are forward of the shoulders. And if you want, you can start to lift those elbows off the floor. Keep a little bend in the elbows. So you want to sort of eye the elbows would point out. Strengthen through the legs. Pressing your chest forward. Breathing in and out. So there's a little engagement of the core, like 30 to 40 percentage or intensity. Remember, if you did Cobra, you can, if you've come down, you can come right back up. Just a few more breaths. You can always take those elbows back down. Notice those shoulders are creeping up. 3 more breaths. 2. 1 more inhale. Exhale. Go ahead, walk your thighs in. Take your right cheek down. Arms by your side, roll your shoulders forward. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Good. Left cheek down. Always an option to take your hands underneath your forehead as well. Hands are letting go. Shoulders are rolling forward. 1 more breath. And exhale. Together, we're going to take our hands underneath our forehead or our chin. Elbows forward and just bend your knees and windshield wipe side to side. Same effect as we did when we're on our back when we do the knees. It's helping to twist the lower back. Good. And to help release it. And then pause the movement. And then draw your navel and press your hands down. So let's take a 3-minute child's pose. So if you have your blanket, you're going to rest your blanket. So you want the width and the length of your shins and your knees. The width is not that important as long as the knees stay on the mat. You can have your knees together or apart, reaching your arms forward. If you tend to have any knee stuff, you can just watch here for a second. If you have a hand towel, you can put these underneath your knees. You can just wrap them. They act as washers and they take any pressure off the knees and they really make it feel so much better. Otherwise, you can always bring the bum higher if you don't have those ready, right? And you can just come into puppy dog and just find that length. So now that you've landed in the pose, I want you to reach the arms forward and look forward, sink your bum back, and then let the forehead and forearms rest as you exhale. So now we're stretching the back, relaxing the shoulders, softening your eyes, breathing it out. My nose gets in the way, so I take my cheek down. So I take and I go side to side. We've got another minute. You can take one cheek down for 3 to 4 breaths and switch. You can always put your hands underneath your forehead. And let's take the other cheek down if you switched or put a cheek down. Good. Slowly glide your hands back. Good. And let's go ahead and rise up and come onto a comfortable seated position. So you tend to sit in a specific way. I always have my right shin in front. Personally, I didn't guide you. So do the other one that you know you likely didn't do. You can always sit up a little bit higher on a block. Just doing eagle arms to stretch the shoulders. We're going to go into an open supported fish pose. So go ahead, reach the arms forward. We're going to take the left arm underneath and either catch the fingers or hook your thumbs or reach for your shoulders. So, and then plug those arm bones in and stack the shoulders. So sometimes we tend to, sort of maneuver the spine. So just try to find a way that feels good. If you can't catch your hands or hook your thumbs, just catch your shoulders. This is a lot of work on the shoulders, just even holding it. Plug those arm bones in and let's go ahead, take those elbows down. Keep the neck neutral. Breathe. 2, 1. Let's go ahead, lift your elbows up. 3, keep your neck neutral. 2, 1. Good. Go ahead, bring those elbows down. I'm just going to face you. You're going to keep your elbows. We're just going to circle around one side 2 times and the other way 2 times. So let's go up and over to your left and just circle the fingers down and up and around. 1 circle. Just 2 total in this direction. Round, so it's like you're counting your back. 2nd circle. We're going back over to the right. It could be more wide or more narrow. And up. And then 1 more time. And up. Oof. Let's go ahead, release, roll the shoulders forward and then back. Good. Let's go ahead, switch the cross. Take the other shin in front. Reach the arms forward. Take your right arm underneath. Catch your fingers, thumbs, shoulders. Plug those arm bones in. Good. I'll just do this variation with you. So we're going to go ahead and slowly take those elbows down, keeping the neck neutral. 2, 1. Slowly lifting those elbows up. 3, 2, 1. Good. We're going to go ahead and bring the elbows back regular. So here. Good. We're going to lift up on the inhale. We're going to go over to your right and down. Round, 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 and up. First one, second one, circle round. And it's so amazing how different one side is to the next. And let's go back up and over 2 times to the left and down and right and up and circle again and up. And then neutralize the spine, release your hands. Good. And actually, you can sit cross-legged, take your hands behind you and come forward. If it feels better to be on your knees, you can come behind you, take those hands behind you and fold. The arms can be more behind you, and you can always use a strap or towel as well. And if you did, you would catch with your hands, palms, like as if you were, I hate to say this, being arrested, but it's the only example, right? So you don't want to have the pinky fingers, you want to have the thumbs together. 3, 2, 1. Rise up, release your hands. Good. So from here, we're going to take, before we do that heart opener, we're going to take a shorter frog pose. So make sure your knees feel good. So if you have a blanket, you want to make sure the knees are able to be supported on something really thick. So you can opt for half frog. We'll take 3 minutes total. So you can do 1.5 minutes. If you can do full frog, you want to make sure that your ankles are on something that has support, like your mat or another blanket. So full frog is where the knees and the ankles are in the same line. Think about a frog shape. And then you're going to put your elbows down. So this is just the front view. You can put your rib cage on a block or support. Side view is where the shins and the knees are in line with the hips and the elbows can come down. Option for half. So say you're on the length of your mat and say the left leg will be straight. You'd have that right shin where the knee is in line with the hip, and you are trying to let that right thigh go further down. You can stay more upright. The foot is in flexion if you are doing one leg, or you can come all the way down. So you can keep it flat and take the back bend out, or you can prop yourself up a little bit and add a little bit more of a back bend in the half frog. In the full frog, you can't help to find that the spine go down, right? Because it's sort of like here, and you're trying to bring your chest down, those thighs open up. Good. So another 30 seconds if you're doing the half, 2 more minutes if you're in the full. Try to breathe. Gravity takes over. In and out breaths. In Kundalini, we say in meditation, Sat Nam. And again, that's saying, I am truth. I am truth. And that's if you're looking, so in Transcendental Meditation, you are given a mantra similar to your an inhale and an exhale, right? So inhale, sat, exhale, nam. And in Transcendental Meditation, I'm not giving anything away because they have to give you it. But essentially, you're given a mantra, and you just focus on that mantra. So switch to the other leg if you did half. Relax the shoulders, draw your navel in. Breathe. Try to let everything release. Notice the heart getting closer and closer to the floor. Relax the eyes and maybe meditate on that inhale, sat, and the exhale, nam. Good. Let's slowly, if you're out wide, you're going to push down. You want to slowly walk those knees in. Together, we'll take a shorter child's pose. So just draw the knees in, sink your seat back, let your forehead rest on your hands, relax your shoulders. Inhale, exhale. Breathe in and out. One more breath and exhale. Press down. Let's go ahead and bring yourself onto your back, but I want you to have your blanket. So if you have a regular yoga blanket, so this is, you don't need one like this, but if you have a thick blanket, like a quilted, a knit blanket, you're going to roll this nice and tight. You can use a block too, but I find a block a little intense for this kind of practice. So your choice. If you prefer that, that's fine too. We're not going to hold it so long, but we're going to open up. So this is towards the top, and you want to have your shoulder blade tips touch the top of it. And because it's a blanket, it's not going to be as intense. So you can sort of land over it right at the thoracic. And I always, my back cracks right there. It's really a nice feeling for me. It might not be for you. Arms are going to open. So if the head is really lifted, you can take another little support, like your extra towel. You just need a little bit of support or none at all. Shoulders and arms are open like a T. You're opening up through the chest. And again, you can use a block. And if this is too intense, you're just going to lay on your back and maybe even put the same support underneath your hips. Otherwise, try to relax the shoulders, let the chest open. So it's a little bit different to earlier when we were in Sphinx pose. We were towards right at the bottom of the rib cage. Here we're opening in the thoracic, and it's just such a much stiffer area for most people to access, including me. Where we sit and how we bend over our phones and our work and our computers. This is all the more tight after 14 months in this pandemic. Whether you worked more or less, there was more screen time. Unhinged jaw, relax the shoulders down. One more inhale. Full exhale. Bend your knees. You're going to push into your feet, slide your bum, hop it over to the left, roll over to the right, Press into your right forearm just to lift up, move that support out of the way. Lay back down. Good. Bend your knees. Either use this to put underneath that right thigh to drop the knees over to the left, or place it between your thighs and then reach that left arm to your left. Bring that right shoulder. So I like to press and bring so that my chest is down and the chest is open and the shoulders are down. And then take the right hand on your left thigh. Try to keep the knees stacked and reach your left arm to your left. What's really nice if you have like a chair nearby that's low, like you're in your living room, you can slide your left hand underneath it. Or I like to use my block, like when I'm at home, and just let it stack on it so it weighs it down. It's just a little pro tip just to ground the shoulders. Good. And let's go ahead and take over to the other side. So you can bring the feet down, shimmy the bum over to the right, drop the knees over to the left, or maybe put the blanket or bolster between the thighs. Walk that left shoulder over to the left and reach the right arm, slide it underneath something, that right hand, or just reach it. Left hand on top of your right thigh. Round shoulders. Soften the tongue from the roof of your mouth. Breathe in and out. And last 2 breaths. One more breath. And exhale. Good. Bring your knees back. Inhale up. And exhale. Shimmy your bum back through center. If you have a bolster, you're going to place it underneath your thighs or a pillow. And then go ahead and lay down into Shavasana. Maybe those arms are open, palms face up, tuck your chin in. Full in breath and out breath. Breathe in and out. Letting your body release. Take one hand to your heart and one hand to your navel and breathe in and out. Inhale and exhale. Take one knee in, and the next, maybe catch happy baby, just 2 breaths, or just hold the knees. The chin in, 2, 1. Knees in, drop them to the right. Help yourself sit up tall. Closing your eyes or looking down your nose, hands resting somewhere comfortably. Take a couple gentle breaths and notice how your body feels. Hands to heart. gratitude for this practice, feeling more grounded and peaceful, maybe even a little bit much more open and even relaxed. Let's take one breath in together, letting go. We bow, thumbs to third eye, namaste. All right, guys, Sat Nam. We are truth. I am truth. Great to have you. So I will be here on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then I'll be gone for a few days. But we've got great teachers tomorrow. We have meditation at 7:20 minutes. I'm excited. I'll be taking that. I think Gabby is here. She's leading us in meditation. We also have Sojun's how to meditate. Sojun was a monk. He's like, he knows his stuff. I also have a Google form that I sent out. I would love to hear anything that you're working on in your health and in your wellness. It was in today's newsletter. It's also on my Instagram page. Personally, it's also on Be Free Live Fully. It's got the same link tree link. If no worries, if not, just curious what's going on in people's health and wellness. And yes, otherwise, I will see you. So great to have you all, as always. Nice to have you, Portia. Nice to see you, Gabby, Clara. Thank you so much for teaching for me this week, Clara, Yoga in the Park. And Gabby, thanks tomorrow. I'm going to see you in the morning. And then nice to see you, Alicia. Yes. Okay, guys, nice to have you. I'll catch you guys later, all right? So you can always send me a note if you ever have any questions or comments.
Thanks, Jess.
Ciao. You're welcome.